Good morning. I'm here with Senator Anthony Bucco from the state of New Jersey, and I'd like to welcome him to the program and let him tell us a little bit about why he's interested in hypertrophic cardiomyopathy and the Healthy Cardiac Monitoring Act. Good morning, Senator Bucco.
Morning. It's great to be with you this morning. This is certainly a topic that touches so many lives. It's estimated that 1 in every 500 people may be impacted by hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, and it can be a silent killer. And in fact, it was brought into my life because my father was diagnosed with it and had been treated for it and was taking medications as a result of it. But we only found out about it by coincidence. He had had some chest pains, and we were actually at a sporting event when it occurred, and he had an angiogram, and that's when they discovered the thickening of the wall in the one chamber of his heart. He was one of the lucky ones, though, because he was diagnosed with it, and it didn't impact him as a child. We've seen throughout the country a sudden cardiac arrest, which is attributed to this disease, and in many cases. So it's important for us to take the lead in our states as legislators to make sure that our children are screened and tested, and that the right questions are asked, not only before they participate in sports programs, but for all kids, because you never know when this could have a devastating impact on your life. And so that's why in New Jersey, my father and I, I had the privilege of serving in the legislature together. He was in the Senate and the upper house at the time, and I was in the assembly and the lower house in New Jersey. And we helped champion this legislation in New Jersey in 2014 that would require questions to be answered, uniform set of questions to be answered of young student athletes before they took the field. And this way, if the questions were answered in a certain way, they were referred for further testing before they undertook the rigorous role of being a student athlete. And then later on in 2015, we thought to ourselves that this needed to be expanded. This shouldn't just be limited to student athletes, but to all kids. And that's why now in New Jersey, when you go for a child exam, a wellness exam, you're asked these questions to be able to see if there's family history, if anything puts out a warning sign to the pediatrician to say, hey, we think you might be subject to this, and we'd like to do some further testing. No family wants to find out when it's too late.
Exactly.
And that's what this is all about. And just recently, just last week, I introduced a Senate Joint Resolution 119, which would make hypertrophic cardiomyopathy Awareness Day here in New Jersey on the 4th Wednesday in February of each year, so that it brings awareness, because this is not something that you hear about every day on the street, but it is something that has the potential to affect many, many families because it is genetic. So I had to be tested. My children had to be tested. My grandchildren were tested as a result of my father having the disease. So it has a major impact on families, and I'm just happy to be able to play a small role here in New Jersey. And I would encourage the legislators throughout the country to follow New Jersey's lead and do the same thing. Let's get out there and save some young lives.
Thank you so much. That was so well said. I didn't even have, the subject so well because it's impacted your family, and hey, we're local. So you followed the HCMA's work all these years, and I'm very happy to say that your dad and I work behind the scenes on a number of issues, but this is the first time we're speaking publicly about your dad being affected by HCM, and Your dad was a wonderful servant to this state for many, many years. So just paying him some appreciation on HCM Awareness Day for his role in our success and our ability to impact the lives of others. So I look forward to continue working with you on this. And thank you for speaking to your fellow state legislators around the country on HCM Awareness Day.
Thank you for the work that you do. Keep up the great work. Let's spread the word, and let's make this uniform across the country and across the world, because it is critically important. No family should have to suffer, but some families have suffered as a result of this disease going undiagnosed.
Couldn't agree more. We need to get there, and we need to get there in time. And that tees us up for our next part of the conversation. So thank you very much for joining. And now let's hear about Jillian's experience with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy.